Hello and welcome. It feels like we're just coming out of COVID, where your virtual friends become your real friends, or you're coming out of here like teenage years, like when virtual friends become real friends. Our pen pal has decided to show up today. That's right. We have Dinesh Karthik in the house. Please welcome him with a warm round of applause. Out of his TV screen and into our studio. Don't worry, I'm not jumping out of your screen and into your house, so it's all safe. I'm Gaurav Kapur. This is Cricbuzz Live. As usual, we do have Zaheer Khan here with us as well, who has taken the long car ride from his house to here. That's the sacrifice he makes for the show.
Luckily, there was no traffic.
What a way to start the show. I just hope people know how far. If Zach decides to walk, it will take 2 minutes. If he decides to take the car, it will take again the same 2 minutes.
No, actually the car takes 10 minutes because it's Mumbai, right? It's quicker to walk than to just basically cut a long story short, we can see Zach's living room window from our green room. Like, it's there. He can zip line here, but we haven't got BMC permission, but I might get by the IPL or something, right? So we might get it. Talking about the IPL, have you both hidden your notes? Eh? Two shot. Cut to two shot. Wait. Let me direct
DK is fully ready, so
Let me direct. Cut to two shot. Now look at each other suspiciously. Just do it again, DK, like you did. That's not very good music, but yeah. Of course, both of them will be heading to Jeddah. Return of the Jeddah. Both of you will be heading to Jeddah soon. DK, how's the prep for that been going?
Very good. It's not started yet.
Oh, all right. So that's good then. I feel the best work is when it's not happening. Zach, do you think that DK is trying to be one of those good students who say, "Arey, we not studied and all," and then topper?
What do you expect? So that he doesn't have to get into any conversation regarding.
I really hope RCB fans believe that we, without planning, that we become topper. I don't want to commit to any of those, but officially we haven't.
Or it might go the other way around, saying that that's why they are like this.
Shots fired! Zach is fired a shot? Baapre, we should feed him before the show.
I'm 100% ready. I've done all my homework.
Oh, really? Have you?
For the record.
Excellent. So, who are you going to...
You'll see.
Who are you going to be bidding for?
Let the game start.
All right, but let the games begin today, because today is not about the league, it's about the international. It's India and South Africa playing a 4-game series in South Africa. They are at 1-1 now. India, of course, had a resounding victory in the first game. The second game, I think all the excess runs that were scored in the first game, those were all kind of left on the table, and they decided to level it all out. It was a bowler's day pretty much on the second game. And today, well, I don't know how the Centurion pitch will behave, but I doubt DK is going to be any of those extremes, right?
Centurion is actually a very good pitch to bat on. One that has good bounce. The boundaries on the side are like the Bengaluru ground. Nice and close. So if you just pick it up.
Yeah.
I remember this game, I think for the longest time, maybe it's broken now, I don't know, 240 was chased down. Unheard of. And we're talking at least 7-8 years ago. 240 was chased down. That's the kind of ground in terms of sizing.
Yeah.
Great pitch to bat on.
Oh, wow. So basically, you can imagine that a lot of balls landing on the barbecues that happen on those grass banks. Yeah. Plenty of sixes again being hit today.
It's a nice ground to play cricket in.
Yeah.
For spectators also, it's damn good. It's a good experience. The grass bank which you're talking about has a great energy.
Yeah. I've been there. I remember, I think the first South Africa IPL game that I was at was there. And it's a bit of a culture shock after Indian stadiums when you go there and you see people just... First of all, somebody's lying down in a stadium, right? There's just some dude with his rug out 2 hours before the game, just taking a nap. I was like, in an Indian stadium, the only time you're lying down is when 10 people are walking over you and you can't get up. So yeah, it is a fun ground. Before we go to the game, I just want a quick word on Mohammad Shami. Extremely important member of the Indian Test team, has been out for a while with injury. First showing to did you manage to get a look at him today? How he was looking at the Ranji game?
No, I haven't watched him bowl, even though it was available on live telly. But I heard he bowled 10 overs, which is a very good sign. You got to understand, they batted first. Shami's team batted first. Bengal batted first, got all out. And then in reply, the opponents were 100 for 1, in which Shami has bowled 10 overs, which tells you that he wants to bowl a lot, which is again a very, very good sign.
Yeah, he's no spring chicken, right? Obviously, he's advanced in years, and Zach, you'll tell us that. Everybody knows that as you get older, recovery becomes kind of harder, coming back becomes harder. But talk us through a little bit about how difficult it'll be for him after his injury to come back like this.
Well, it's a process. Every time you have a major setback, you got to just control the controllables. Is something which you'll be thinking at this stage. You got to listen to your body. Even if you want to go out and bowl 25 overs, you can't do that. So you got to listen to the physios, the trainers. There's a whole roadmap nicely structured for you. So you just got to follow those steps, and every day you just got to keep on pushing that envelope. So that's usually how the process goes.
Yeah.
Now at times it gets frustrating because whatever we've been hearing from Shami's recovery progress, it's the ankle surgery which he has undergone.
Yeah.
But the knee is started to flare up. So that is something different which has come out after the surgery in his post-surgery rehab, which can be frustrating at times. So it's just about he would want to be part of that Australian tour, and that's what he's doing everything possible. So this is a box ticked, I would say, nicely. If you bowl 10 overs, the next day matters even more.
Yeah.
So everyone must be right now keeping their fingers crossed that, okay, how does he pull up the next day? Whether he's able to do it again. And if he's able to do that, then it's a great positive. Then it's just a step in the right direction. He can keep building on that. You're talking about Shami, isn't it? You have the experience, you have the numbers, you know what he can do.
Yeah.
And that's why you want him back as early as possible, and that's the reason he wants to come back on the field as soon as possible.
Interesting what you're saying about he wants to be in Australia. He's not alone. There's about 1 billion other people who also want him to be in Australia because of his showing.
I was just going to ask Zach actually. So now that he's played the one match and he'll probably most likely get through it nicely, but then he only has the Syed Mushtaq Ali to follow. Considering there's no 4-day game after that, do you think it's better off sending him to Australia and making sure he's okay there, or do you think it's better he plays a couple more T20 games?
It's just about building the workload. It's just about getting that many overs under his belt. So once he's done that, I'm sure kind of just trying to think that how the roadmap is going to be for him. It's just about making sure that he's able to increase the number of overs bowled in a day, because for a test match that's the crucial part, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't know how many overs you're going to bowl in an innings, and that's something which you have to be prepared for. And 120% fitness is something which he would want to be at for him to make the comeback.
Yeah.
So once he plays one game, that is going to give him a lot of confidence. After that, then you can create a simulation and keep building it. If Syed Mushtaq Ali is going to be there, 4 overs is definitely not going to help. For him, if he has to be part of the test setup and be preparing for that, then he'll have to bowl at least 15, 17 overs before he says that, okay, I'm ready to play the test match.
It's such a good point, DK, that you make, because 4 overs, like Zach is saying, is not going to help, right? It won't tell you anything. Maybe see this one game, wait a couple of days, see if there's any flare-ups, scans are all clear. Just put him on the plane and the team there can just figure it out. They're the best positioned then to figure out.
Absolutely, because he is a very, very important part of the bowling attack. A bowling attack in Australia with Shami, without Shami, is 2 different things altogether. So if he goes there, I think they will take care of him well there. And if you do look at his stats, it's very obvious what an impact he has for Team India every time he stepped on Australian shores to do what he's done, right up there with some of the best that's ever been there.
I just want to, 1 second, Kapil Dev at 51 wickets in 11 games. Let's just, for a moment, just look at that as well. And then, because everybody knows the other names, but the younger viewers will be very pleasantly surprised and happy to see that. Sorry.
The first test that India ever won in Australia was thanks to Kapil Dev. And, he was, as we all know, what a legend he is. But speaking about Shami now, it only makes sense for him to go to Australia soon after this test. If, as Zach said, 2 days, just need to wait, see everything is okay, probably go to NCA, just check in, everything is okay. Put him on a flight, send him there where they can monitor his workloads. And even if not playing the Perth test, for sure, be ready for the day and night test. Because after that, all he's going to be playing in India for the next 3 weeks would be T20s. And I don't think you're going to get too much value considering you want him there for the test matches. So if I'm right, that's what they would be looking to do as well.
Okay, so we could very soon be seeing Shami on the plane to Australia. All right, let me just tell you what has happened at Centurion. I don't even know why the two captains bother. Because for the third time in a row, South Africa has won the toss and chosen to bowl. Well, just giving us extra 5 minutes of television, I guess, right? Them going out. Is Zach surprised by this decision or not at all, considering they chased it successfully despite the hiccups last time?
I don't think even most of the T20 captains, they don't even look at the conditions, I think. They prefer to bowl first in this format. Yeah. That's the trend we've seen. Unless the pitch is drastically going to support batting, which in that scenario also they feel that, okay, 240 is also chaseable on this track. So let's just bowl first. So that's the kind of trend in this format. So I'm not surprised with this decision.
Yeah, just of the last game we were talking about it because their chasing effort last time, hiccups, yes. But of course, they won't look at the hiccups. They'll look at the fact that they managed to get across the line right at the end. And that's the confidence you take forward to the next one. And we're hoping to do the same today.
Hopefully, if you're South Africa, that's what you want to be doing because clearly that middle order that we spoke about, again, didn't fire. It was Tristan Stubbs and Gerald Coetzee played a massive role. And speaking about tosses, especially having been a captain, it's almost a given that all teams go in saying, we are going to chase today. We want to know the score so we know how to bat. Except if it is a big game, there are some captains who still believe big game, let's bat first.
Yeah.
That is a very rare phenomenon. Otherwise, just like what Zach said, it has to be diabolical for you to say, okay, I want to bat first. Almost always teams look to chase these days, especially with due. Turning pitches also you end up chasing these days because general thumb rule is turning pitches, bat first, it'll probably get worse. But even there, people like to bat and chase.
Yeah, let's have a look at the teams because one thing has happened with the Indian team is that Ramandeep has got a cap. In fact, Hardik Pandya gave him a cap just before play began. And he's come in place of Avesh Khan. So we were doing a lot of guessing whose place he could come in. None of us got Avesh Khan in that. We were thinking, is Hardik sitting out? Is Akshar sitting out? Is Abhishek sitting out? We never thought he'll come in the place of a fast bowler, Zach.
I think looking at how the two matches have gone, spinners had a big role to play.
Yep.
So that's the kind of thought process I think is seen right now from the Indian team. Maybe Akshar will be bowling more overs. Is something which you can expect from this game. We'll have to still wait and see Ramandeep whether he's going to contribute with the ball or not. But I think Akshar's overs, if you look at the last two games, there were not many. So they will definitely think of him playing a bigger role with the ball in this game.
Yeah, he's bowled 1 over each. Akshar has bowled 1 over in the first game and 1 over in the second game. And we spoke about it the other day, how Surya probably could have used him for another over or two when South Africa was having a lot of trouble with spin. You could see there's the Chronicles of Chucky and Bish. Today, Surya seems like a captain and the Indian team, VVS Lakshman, they all seem like they are not the kind of people to make that mistake again, I'm guessing.
For sure, we can be rest assured. Yeah. Akshar Patel will bowl his full quota. If he hasn't bowled, that means he hasn't bowled well. That could be the only reason. And they've gone in with one fast bowler, Hardik Pandya, the all-rounder, and that's it. All spin. If you bring in Ramandeep and say he's a medium pacer, yes, but in South Africa, we're going in with an attack which has 3 spinners. Quite astounding to think the quality of spinners that we have and also the way Team India is thinking that they just don't mind having the 6th option. They don't want to be reliant on them in a bilateral. If it was a World Cup game, it is a completely different way for captains and the coaches to think.
Yeah.
Here, in a bilateral, this is where they can try, lengthen their batting so they can push harder for a much longer period. And with the ball, try and do what you've done in the previous game.
Yeah. Is this also, yes, you want to play a new player and check him out and that's great. Do you think that some of it is also based on the fact that the batting kind of collapsed? 125 is a collapse compared to 200 in the first game, right?
I wouldn't call it a collapse, but
200 to 125.
No, the power play wickets I think just put pressure on them.
3 in the power play.
Yeah, and then they didn't know exactly how to maneuver. If you have a clear-cut plan, and that's what we were touching upon after the Indian batting last game, where you are 124 for 6. Now you much rather be 110 all out or try for that 145, 150 in spite of losing those early wickets. So that is something which they want to give them enough confidence by adding one more batter. So one thing is for sure, the batting is going to take more responsibility and you will see a very aggressive approach through and through the innings, even if there is fall of wickets at the top.
There's one change in the South Africa team as well. I think they've dropped a spinner for a quick bowler. So they've gone kind of the other way, right? So you have Lutho Sepamla, who's come in place of Nakaba Peter. So that's the one change that they've made here. But otherwise, you have a look from the top. Ryan Rickleton, Reza Hendricks, Aiden Markram, Tristan Stubbs, who played a very mature 47 or 41 in the previous game, kind of shepherded this chase. Heinrich, Klaasen, David Miller, that's 2 games and 2 failures for both of them. First game especially, very soft dismissals. Marco Janssen and Dil Similane. My favorite, Gerald Coetzee. Geez, he's been fantastic. And then Keshav Maharaj and then Lutho Sepamla. How are you reading this? They're obviously reading the pitch slightly differently because he's a medium pacer.
Is he the captain of your fantasy team? Gerald Coetzee.
He should be, right? Absolutely. He should be of everyone's.
After his parents, I think you love him the most. So
I think he's great. I think he's great. He's my Gerard Butler. It's like 300.
He's going to get promotion in the batting lineup for sure.
He will?
His name is too down on that list.
One position low.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's saying that I'm the gunman, 19 and 9. Everybody's gone, and then I'll come and save the day. Right? So he's playing that role. But yeah, looks good enough to be 7, at least 8.
8 for sure. I mean, when you have Marco Janssen, who's known to have finishing skills, I think 8 is a very fair number. We still don't have enough evidence on a Similane. I know he's come and gone a couple of the times, but he's a good player as well. At the end of the day, the way the South African team is shaping up, they are trusting their strengths, which is fast bowling.
Yeah.
They don't mind bowling quick bowlers through the middle as well. Sepamla is someone who seams the ball and who has decent pace. He is just in the squad for the 3rd and 4th T20s. It's good to see him getting an opportunity. He's done well recently for South Africa A and has been amongst wickets. So they are hoping that he provides that firepower through the middle, not in terms of pace, but just the fact that he's a fast bowler ahead of a Peter.
There's, the last time India played at Centurion, just found out was in 2018. So there was only Hardik Pandya from this team. Just tells you how quickly as well. I mean, 6 years is not a long time for the entire team to churn, but I think that's what's happening. New captain, a lot of new players, test team in Australia at the same time that, the world has changed a lot actually in the last 6 years. But the one change we're also seeing is for many years, Hardik Pandya was your one fast bowling all-rounder, right? And now you're seeing, like you said, Ramandeep, medium, not as spacey as Hardik, but Nitish Reddy, you have Shivam Dubey who does that, Venkatesh Iyer a bit. So suddenly you're seeing maybe this is becoming a trade that's being plied by a lot more people.
Especially in this format, we've been looking at the direction which Indian team is taking right now, and there's a conscious effort being made with regard to giving those kind of players more chances. And I think you'll only find out, when you put players in that situation, how they respond, whether they're able to evolve from there. And that's the process right now which you're following. You might have to go 1 step or 2 step back in this. You might risk a couple of games. But it's good to see that they're making that effort of putting players, exposing them to this level and seeing if they can take the responsibility and shine.
In a way, playing this 11 is also a testament to what they believe in. Go hard and go hard throughout the 20 overs because you have a Ramandeep, Akshar Patel at 8, Ramandeep will probably bat at 7 on the scorecard. So that's what they want to. They're saying we'll try and get as much as possible with the bat and we'll defend it with our spinners. That's the language that they're speaking because you got to understand, unlike in IPL, there's no impact player here, so they just play the 11. But what they really want to focus on is try and bat in a powerful way through the 20 overs.
Actually, that gets me to Abhishek Sharma as well, right? Because we've been seeing him, he's like, live by the sword, die by the sword. And obviously we saw that big 100 that he got, that was Zimbabwe. After that, in the last few games or the way he's been playing, your thoughts on the way he's been playing?
We spoke about Abhishek Sharma and the word that we used was intent monster. He still goes with the same intent. I think it's a positive, but the problem in Indian cricket right now is chances are few and far in between. There is a point which will be a breaking point when he decides that, okay, maybe at the start, if I'm not set, I need to choose my risk options. Right now, he's playing in a very carefree way. He sees ball and hits ball. I think that's what he will do in SRH, wherever he has confidence. But if his confidence is on the wane, he'll pick and choose a little more the risks that he wants to take. And that will help him in international cricket because unlike, at the end of the day, no matter what you say, even an IPL is a domestic competition. You will end up playing 1 or 2 slightly lesser quality bowlers with probably lesser pace and all of that. But at the international level, when you play teams like Australia, New Zealand, England, they will have quick bowling through and through to you, and they will bowl at your throat consistently and then bowl it full. And then you have to start picking lengths better even when they're doing that. So that comes with a certain skill, and that is what Abhishek Sharma is probably searching for right now.
It's interesting, right, Zach? Because sometimes when bowlers have unusual actions, coaches want to correct it, right? And then the ones who go through like that, you're like, oh, that's great that nobody touched it. Like Bumrah, it's great nobody touched that action, and he did the unusual. Abhishek Sharma also, even though the whole world is kind of throwing their bats at everything now in T20 cricket, it's an unusual. It's not the usual way of approaching an innings. You as a mentor, you as a coach, what would you advise him then? Would you say, no, buddy, if 2 wickets have fallen, you change your game? Or would you say, no, you keep going how you're going? Or a hybrid approach like what DK is suggesting, which is weigh your risk options, which for a youngster perhaps doesn't come naturally?
No, I think it's just about sticking to your formula. But then you got to figure out a process at this level. So when you're looking at his career right now, he's actually lucky on this series that there is no other opener in that squad. If there was another opener, and the question which the team management also need to ask right now, is that the reason he's batting so carefree in carefree manner?
Yeah.
So that is something which you have to judge based on the conversations which you're having with him. You want players to be positive, but at the same time you want them to have clarity about how they're going on about preparing for a game and how they're going on executing those plans in the middle.
Yeah.
So that is something. I think there is a gap in Abhishek's approach right now.
Okay.
He's maybe thinking that, okay, this is how I've played, this is how I've got success, and I'm just going to continue with that. But maybe when you're playing at a level and depending on what kind of bowlers you're playing against, you need to alter that a little bit. You still can look to be positive, but the options which you're taking maybe need to be in a well measured way, or maybe if you're looking to take them on the onside, can you play them through the offside? Can you use the pace in a different way? Those are the questions which he'll have to ask. Maybe work with the batting coach and dig deep in terms of fine tuning the whole thing, so that you're still sticking with the same formula, you're still sticking with the positive approach, but you're just dishing out differently and still getting the same result.
Yeah, I like it because you're talking about essentially thinking and showing maturity and awareness about your game. But we were talking about Hardik Pandya before, head and shoulders ahead of all the all-rounders that are available for Indian cricket in this format especially. Do you sometimes think that he ever since he became captain of GT, he overthinks, like he's become a little too mature? It's like, just unleash that beast sometimes, man. And I'm not just saying it because of the last game and the last 10 balls. That's, it can happen to anyone. But in general, have you been also seeing it that sometimes you feel like, oh, is he overthinking it? His numbers are still head and shoulders above everyone else. But can he just come back to his base instinct a little more?
Since the time he's become a captain, he's become a lot more responsible. The moment you use the word responsibility with a batter, it goes down to shot selection. And I think he's been a lot more wary about the kind of shots he's chosen to play.
Yeah.
The fight in his mind was he was batting at 4 for GT, and for India it was 6 or 7. Two different game plans. Now, having been a finisher, I know if you send me at 4, I'll feel like fish out of sea, because that is completely different. Even though it's the same format, just going and having an entry point around the 8th over to the 15th over is so different in your mindset, in the way you prepare, in the kind of shots you play, for you to be successful in both those positions. So at that point, he was juggling both. I think this current regime has come and told him, no, you're not going to bat at 4, you're going to bat 5, 6 or 7. At most times, you'll be walking in around the 13th or 14th over. So I think his role is what you spoke about, which is to unleash the beast within him and play shots that we have known and seen him play, which is to take on the bowlers, put pressure. And he tried last game, didn't happen, which can happen to anybody. But he has that game. But when he bats at 4, he puts on that responsibility hat and says, okay, now I need to just probably play a few balls, take the game slightly deep before I take on risks. So he's weighed his options that way.
I mean, he's still head and shoulders, like we saw the numbers, he's still head and shoulders ahead of everyone else. But yeah, that's the thing with Hardik Pandya. He's such an exciting cricketer that you just want that excitement all the time. We're like junkies. We're like Pandya junkies. Zach, I'm going to ask you about the South African bowling attack because they are going to be bowling first. We'll show you the 11 again. Dave, it's interesting. It's a very interesting kind of buffet of bowlers that they have. You know that the power play, they're not going to show any spin like they did in the first game, right? They're going to go quick. They're going to go aggressive.
Yeah.
How would you like to see that power play constructed?
I think first 4 overs, you've seen Gerald Coetzee and Marco Jansen will start, I think. And then Sipamla is someone along with Similane. How they use it is what we have to see. Keshav Maharaj is going to be predominantly used through those middle overs.
Yeah.
Is what the stack up is. Markram, if required, maybe, but doesn't look like. So he has got enough bowling options. He'll just look to rotate his bowlers. And looking at the previous game, one thing they've learned from the first game is that you've got to be aggressive, you've got to be positive, and you've got to think wickets.
Yeah. Markram, and good thing for South Africa is that his finger's fine. So he's playing today. But out of these quick bowlers, who's the one that has impressed you? We spoke about Gerald Coetzee, so I think let's talk about Marco Jansen and that height and the angle that he bowls from. Very Bruce Reed. I'm giving my age away. Very Bruce Reed kind of height and angle, right? That it comes at you.
Very similar. Very tall. Gets the ball back in. When the ball doesn't move, he takes the ball away. But what he has improved is definitely his ability to bowl at the death. He was known to be someone who likes to bowl a lot more than new ball.
Yeah.
But in this series, he's shown skills to bowl at the death, has bowled in the last 2 games, and he's done pretty well for himself. He's always known in the South African circles as someone who can contribute with the bat, and that has helped them in forming the 11 as well. But for me, as I look at him, it is the bounce that gets the Indian batters into trouble because of how steep it is, because of his height, and he's got a nice high release point as well. He's not the quickest bowler, but because of his bounce, he always feels a lot more quicker than what he can actually be.
Yeah, is that it? That's a phenomenon as well, right, Zach? The bounce makes it feel like it's quicker?
No, he can crank it up. He can bowl around 140 plus is something with good rhythm. But sometimes with tall bowlers, what happens, you sometimes get limited because you can't bowl too short.
Yeah.
Because of your extra bounce as well. And the balls which you are pitching up, you got to be able to hit the deck hard. At times with Marco Jansen, we've seen that he's still not figured that out.
Okay.
In his bowling. And this format, you've seen players using their feet against him, and they've looked to put him under pressure. And every time he's been under pressure, he's been going for runs. And those are the numbers. The economy on the higher side is suggestive of that fact. Even though he's been consistent with taking wickets, it's just the sheer skill which he has.
Yeah, he's got 50 plus wickets in T20s for South Africa this year. This is going to be a good encounter, I feel, and I'm excited that India is going to be batting first. I'm never excited about this next part of the show, which is the joy factor question, but I'm contractually obliged and ethically obliged to Joy to show it. So get ready to have your confidence pounded. This is the joy factor question for today. Which Australian fast bowler's last test resulted in a win that also marked the debut and only test for an Indian cricketer? I know this. Do you know this? I know this one. Finally. or, I think I know it. And that's even worse, right? Be careful of he who knows not and knows not that he knows not. Old Chinese saying. We have no idea what the answer is. If you know, please send it to us. #Cricbuzz Live. That's on X. So send it to us on Joy Factor. We're waiting for your answers. Score guesses: Centurion batting wicket, small boundaries, lots of barbecue. Just to confuse you guys.
I'm going 171 again.
171.
190.
So we're just basically doing our same guesses as last time.
Yeah.
182. I'll tell you what we're hoping for. None of us have got our first innings guess right in 2 games. So by sticking with the same number, what we're hoping is that we can be like broken watches, which are right 2 times a day. So that's what we're hoping. We hope it just comes and lands on that. All right. So we're just going to show you the India 11 once before we go. India is going to be batting first. So just the one change where Ramandeep Singh comes in for Avesh Khan. But the batting order, Abhishek Sharma and Sanju Samson at the top. We spoke a lot about Sanju last time after his 100 and we jinxed him and he got a duck, which is why we have just not spoken about him at all. You see what we're trying to do here? Suryakumar Yadav, the captain, Tilak Verma, Hardik Pandya, Rinku Singh, Akshar Patel, Ramandeep Singh, and then it comes down to Chucky Bish and Arshdeep. All right, well, that's all we have time for. We're going to see you at the end of the 10th over at Cricbuzz Combox, so we'll see you then. I have to go and do my main job now, which is order dinner for Dinesh and Zaheer, and make sure that both their diaries are kept in separate rooms with their auction notes. Don't worry, guys. RCB fans, LSG fans, I got you guys, huh? Don't worry about it. Thank you to Dinesh Karthik, Zaheer Khan. Thank you so much for being here.
Pleasure.
I'm Gaurav Kapur, and you were watching Cricbuzz Live. We'll see you in a bit. Bye-bye.